We just tried to go visit him in prison just to check on his conditions.
What about the human right of a woman not to be? I mean, what about the human right of kids to play or to be free or to go to the park? And what about the human right to live?
What are your thoughts on your senator going to bat for this illegal? But did he ever say anything to you and your family about your loss? To ever call you, ever take the time to be with you?
No, actually, I'm very angry. I'm actually outraged.
Sean, we've reached a point in American politics where we have one party led by President Donald Trump that fights for Americans, and a second party, I guess led by AOC, that fights for illegal aliens. But not just illegal aliens, criminal, wife-beating, terrorist illegal aliens.
But no, they were worried about the human rights of the killers.
This is a clown show. I don't even know where to begin here. So this woke behind it, like, this got to be one of the wokest people I've ever seen in my life. This woke Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, this loser flew to El Salvador. Okay, most of you guys probably know that already. And President Nayib Bukele actually allowed him to finally meet Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So he actually allowed it, probably because he just wants this guy to get the hell out of his country. If it were me, I would have just told him, all right, it's time to go get the hell out of here. But he didn't do that. He was cordial. He let him meet Garcia, and he started immediately trolling him. Exhibit A, okay? This is his X account. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, miraculously risen from the death camps, okay, the concentration camps where they're literally gassing people like they were doing the Jews. You know, this is the type of stupid stuff that people are posting on X, talking about they're probably out there putting them in concentration camp, gassing them. I kid you not, people are saying this and posting pictures, trying to pretend like this was happening. But he says, death camps and torture camps, risen from death and torture camps, now sipping on margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. So peep this. Of course, here's the handshake. This guy looking like he's madly in love. This is an extremely awkward picture. The memes are going to be outrageous for this. It's about to be lit, fam. And as you can see here, they're literally drinking margaritas. This dude is sipping on alcohol. He's clothed just fine. He doesn't look bruised and beat up. Okay, he's good. In prison, you're obviously not supposed to be treated good, but he looks fine. And apparently this guy is a translator. Guy on the right is a translator, because apparently Kilmar here doesn't speak a lick of English, even though he's a Maryland man, doesn't speak a lick of damn English. These people are crazy. And of course, the Democrats fell right into the trap. Okay, they activated the trap card, and I'm gonna get to that in a second because I'm gonna go ahead and show you what else he said. He said, okay, this is not the same guy, President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Now that he's been confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody. Bada bing, bada boom, he not coming back. Okay, so I don't want to hear all the due process, this is Supreme Court. It's not the Supreme Court of the damn world. El Salvador's a sovereign nation. They can do whatever the hell they want. He's not coming back. Okay, and here's the stupid thing here. This visual is forever going to be imprinted into the Democrat brand because this guy is a MS-13 gang member. He's a wife beater. Okay, MS-13 is notorious for human trafficking, which Garcia was literally caught trafficking humans, and Joe Biden's FBI let him go.
Not only was he gang-tied and interrogated over human and drug smuggling, in 2022, Homeland Security said he was a suspect in a human trafficking incident after he was pulled over with 8 other individuals in the vehicle. This is in Tennessee. Garcia told police he was driving for 3 days from Texas to Maryland, but there was no luggage in the car. He said he was just bringing in people to perform construction work. Texas to Maryland, kind of a long commute to work. Garcia was driving on an expired driver's license in someone else's car. Cops asked him, whose car is it? Garcia said, my boss, in construction. Police asked the passengers their addresses, and they all gave Garcia's address. But Garcia lived in Maryland, and they were coming from Texas. When cops asked everybody to write down their names, the officer couldn't read their handwriting because they just scribbled chicken scratch. But cops just let Garcia off with a warning for driving on an expired license, which is weird because he was flagged on a transnational organized crime watch list. Yeah.
This looks so bad for the Democrats, guys. I don't know how the hell they're going to recover from this, because this is about to be in every commercial on the campaign trail. A bunch of stuff about human trafficking and being in bed with MS-13 and fighting hard, ignoring a Maryland mother, Patty Morin, for Rachel Morin, who five kids, mother of 5, died. Rachel Morin, Patty Morin, her mother, ignoring her. She's called. I've seen her ex-post, ignored the hell out of her.
He did not call our family. He did not give condolences. There was no action on the Democratic Party in any way, from Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, anyone here in Maryland. None of the senators did anything to help.
So that they could lay in bed and bang with gangs. This is so freaking ridiculous. CNN is not totally clueless, but they are clueless because they played along with this, but they seem to think that it may not be a good thing that the Democrats were kind of proven wrong and that Garcia is actually okay.
But I think there's a lot of questions now. We don't have a lot of information. Did the White House know about this? If this man is actually a gang member, why is he meeting with a lawmaker, presumably out of prison, with margaritas? What happens now? Is he going back to the El Salvador prison? So there are a lot of questions that I think we still don't know about.
Yeah, and also it's interesting. These are the images that Van Hollen posted to us, and where there's no margaritas in this picture. Yeah. I mean, there are obviously real questions about how this is being staged and managed from both perspectives that we are hearing from this in real time tonight. What do you make of this, and also what Bukele has been posting on Twitter since?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Bukele, this is why Donald Trump likes him. Bukele is creating the narrative basically to throw it back into Democrats' face that, Sidcon is not a dangerous place, although notoriously it is known that it is, and that Democrats are basically overreacting and thus throwing themselves in the same pool as gang members, really bolstering the White House's narrative. I think the politics on this is kind of a wait-and-see game. In some ways, Van Hollen can come back and dominate at least one news cycle tomorrow, talking about just what terrible treatment this man is receiving in this El Salvadorian prison, and the fact that the White House is not adhering to due process, one of the tenets of American society. But then it could also kind of blow back in his face, and we just don't know yet.
Even fake news CNN knows that this narrative is kind of falling apart. This is not a good guy, number one. Number two, he's doing just fine. Number three, they had the facts wrong and everything that they presented, so people are going to disbelieve them even more, especially if they got an X account. Oh, if you got an X account and you can see all this evidence being posted all over the place, oh man, they're toast. Stephen Miller here, Deputy Chief of Staff, he made a complete fool out of the fake news.
Sean, we've reached a point in American politics where we have one party led by President Donald Trump that fights for Americans, and a second party, I guess led by AOC, that fights for illegal aliens. But not just illegal aliens, criminal, wife-beating, terrorist illegal aliens. 2 immigration judges, as you said, found that he was a member of MS-13, as did the arresting police department here nearby in Prince George's County. On top of that, we have, of course, the protective order filed by his wife, alleging horrific, multiple instances.
There were 2?
Yes, of extreme, violent physical abuse. And then on top of all of that, he's an illegal alien and a member of what has been designated as a foreign terrorist organization. You have the entire machinery of the Democrat Party using all of its power, not to fight for lower costs, as President Trump is, or better trade deals, as President Trump is, or lower taxes, as President Trump is, but to fight to bring this illegal alien with all those horrific crimes and allegations and history against him back to the United States, where he can do what? He can commit additional acts that threaten the safety of the American people. This is the biggest, sharpest contrast you will ever see between the priorities of President Trump and the priorities of the Democrat Party.
And then you got Caitlin Collins, Donald Trump's latest punching bag, White House correspondent for fake news / legacy news CNN, absolutely getting eviscerated by Tom Homan for asking stupid questions about this guy that have already been answered.
I've seen some people look at this and say they're worried that the stance of this administration when it comes to this is that if someone is deported by accident, that they have no responsibility for them once they are in the custody of a foreign government. What would you say to that?
Well, they're in the custody of El Salvador. He's an El Salvadoran national. He was born in El Salvador. El Salvador has him in custody, and El Salvador decide what happened to him. I mean, again, the El Salvadoran president made it clear he's not going to release him. So again, I'm going to go back. The DOJ, they can fight this out in the courts. I'm not a part of that. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. So we'll let the courts, decide what the next steps will be.
Even though it was a U.S. immigration judge who said the one place he can't go is El Salvador. I mean, he could have been deported literally anywhere else.
Again, we can keep going back and back, but again, that was years ago. Country conditions were different. That gang no longer exists in El Salvador. He has been designated a terrorist since that time. 2 different federal judges said he's an MS-13 member. A police department said he's an MS-13 member. ICE data shows he's an MS-13 member. El Salvador says he's an MS-13 member. As you know, MS-13 has been designated terrorist. The case has the facts of the case have changed since that first decision. So again, I'll leave it up to the DOJ to argue that case in court, but that is where I stand, and that's my belief.
How many different ways do we need to prove that this guy is MS-13? I guarantee you, if he were to shoot somebody, and they would say, well, he didn't go to trial to prove that he actually shot him, or let's say he went to trial and he was convicted, they'd be like, well, a conviction doesn't mean that you're actually guilty of it. In reality, it was a partisan jury. I mean, they would always come up with something, and I'm so confused as to how they think this is going to be good for them politically, how it's good for their conscience. What is this even good for at all? If you're a Democrat, if a Democrat's watching this, how does this help you? Maybe it just helps them because they feel like they're being anti-Trump. So maybe they feel like anti-Trumpism is enough, but it wasn't enough to win the 2024 election. As a matter of fact, it backfired. So I just don't see the benefit here. There's no net benefit to rolling around in bed with a freaking gangbanger and wife beater. I just don't get it. Neither does Scott Jennings of CNN.
I see these pictures tonight and I think, boy, the party of women is really covering itself in glory tonight. I mean, I don't understand why the American left falls in love with the worst people. You've got a gang-banging, human trafficking, wife-beating illegal alien, and a United States senator in a ludicrous display of energy is in El Salvador having Mai Tais and Yahtzee. I do not get it. I do not understand why the left takes on the heroes.
The part of this,
I don't get it.
I think I'm not
allegedly in there somewhere. I'm just wondering.
He is a Democrat United States senator.
I don't think this is an issue.
Nobody understands this. Even the radical left people on the news seem to think we're getting diminishing returns here. What I'm experiencing is flabbergastery, like confusion. I'm dumbfounded by how foolish this is. And I'm glad that Bukele trolled the hell out of them. There's so much trolling going on here. Let me look at his page before we close out here. I found my favorite X account for the day. Nayib Bukele is so based. Holy ish, Nayib Bukele is trolling Democrats so badly. I absolutely love it. Now it's time to impeach Senator Chris Van Hollen. They called this checkmate because he says he's healthy and he's staying in El Salvador. Nayib Bukele says, he says, I love chess. I love chess. Okay, so everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. They're saying like this guy is sipping on margaritas. They're loving the fact that he's trolling the hell out of the fake news. They're loving the fact that he allowed these stupid pictures to be stupid pictures to be taken because he knows that it's going to show up in the news. It's going to be all over the news. Hey, the Democrats in bed with terrorists. They're in bed with wife beaters. They don't care about women. If you ask me, that's the big one. I feel like how you really nail the radical left Democrats is you get them on the whole women thing. Women, the women card works, okay? They tried to use it with abortion. It didn't work like that because every woman's obviously not some pro-abortion maniac, but every woman wants to be safe. No woman wants to get raped, except for Whack Job Carol, of course. She fantasizes about it. But besides that weirdo, majority of women don't want anything crazy like that to happen. And you certainly don't want to get beaten. You don't want gangbangers in your neighborhood, in your country, out of jail, human traffickers. The Democrats have fumbled massively here. I think this was a horrible mistake, including for Van Hollen. I don't know how the hell they elect these idiots. I do not understand it, guys. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this is going to be some sort of win for the Democrats, that they're going to say that, well, we applied the pressure and we were able to meet Kilmar? Or do you think it's just going to make them look foolish in the end because now they were pressing and fighting harder than I've ever seen them fight for anything? I'd never see Democrats really fight for anything except to win elections and apparently for illegal immigrant gangbanger wife beaters. It's the hardest I've ever seen them fight. I've never seen anybody fight as hard for anything in my entire life. Is this going to benefit the Democrats, or is this a checkmate, as Bukele said? Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rise channel. I'm out.
And if the entire Democrat Party was to work itself into a state of emotional hysteria to demand the return of illegal gang members and terrorists to our shores, then that 21% will soon be 15, and then it'll be 11, and then all they'll have left is the support of actual confirmed MS-13 members, and that will be the entire base of the Democrat Party.